We're here today for the book launch and the book signing of my book, Shark Heart, that was co-written with my dear friend Tina Hill, who came to see me every day for 4 months while I was in the hospital. And it's my story, which is a pretty dramatic story. I was a perfectly healthy 13 and a half years ago. I was a successful businesswoman and mother. I had a black belt in Taekwondo. I had been a professional dancer. I was strong and fit until I wasn't. And it started out with a rash. And this rash was actually a rare autoimmune disease misdiagnosed as psoriasis called dermatomyositis that destroyed all of my muscles. So I went from taking dance class every day to needing a walker. I was on my way to get a muscle biopsy when I fell unconscious, was rushed to the hospital and put on life support. The only thing that would save my life would have been a heart transplant. And so, fortunately, I lived in LA where 35% of all the transplants are done, and we have the best transplant centers here. And the doctors and the transplant team at Cedars-Sinai listed me as an experiment. They never expected me to live. And then I received a heart in 10 days on my actual birthday. I was woken up after the surgery and told that I had a new heart. And then I was put into an induced coma for 2 months. As I was coming out of it, I realized that I couldn't move or speak. And so I saw the light and I felt the presence of God. Don't ever rule him or her out. It is there. There's something there. And I was ready to let go and follow the light. And then I smelled my 11-year-old daughter Jade's dirty hair. And it smelled like the barn where she rode horses. And so I made a deal with God that if he let me come back to being her mom again, I'd spend the rest of my life giving back. So after my very long recovery, I left the hospital in 4 months in a wheelchair, my money embezzled by business partners, newly divorced, and almost broke. But I had my child and myself in the promise that I made to God. And so I started a nonprofit called Ava's Heart, and we assist transplant patients with mandatory post-transplant housing. You cannot get listed without it. So check out avasheart.org and buy our book, Shark Heart, and support the cause. Become an organ donor because someone else's life depends on it.
I am so happy to be here, and again, all these wonderful people showing up to support you and your heart, and thank you so much for your work. So tell everybody where to find the book and where to follow your journey and how to find out more about the organization.
Okay, to find out more about the organization, just go to Ava's Heart, AVASHEART.org. We even have an It's Just One campaign, so you can donate just $1 a month. Imagine if we get 1 million people to do that. And the book is entitled Shark Heart, because when I was hallucinating, I thought that I was underwater and that I received the heart of a shark. And so in the book, if you read it, it relates to a shark heart a lot. And I believe that I have a shark heart. So, and the book is also about other transplant patients, other donor families, and people in the medical field that make this amazing community that I've become a part of. To get the book, go to Amazon. It's Shark Heart by T.B. Hill and Ava Kaufman.
I'm the author of the book Shark Heart, and I've been a friend of Ava's for about 25 or 26 years. So it's actually, I believe, 16 interviews. Ava would direct me to people that she has been involved with her foundation for the last, I think, 9 or 10 years. And I would go interview them and bring their stories into the book. The purpose of the book is to have people understand the miracle of organ transplants, and there's some inequities in the transplant community that need to be fixed. And so that's part of why we wrote it, and also to tell people Ava's story and the people that she's most affected.
While you were doing this book, what did you learn that surprised you, or that you came away with thinking, wow, what was that like for you?
It was difficult, actually, because I would interview people who had either lost a family member or who had received an organ transplant, and I would talk to them about their entire lives from childhood forward. So you get a whole picture of the person and understand what they went through, because most people actually are not like Ava. They actually don't drop dead in their doorway and then wake up with a heart transplant. There are people who suffer through a lot of their life until it's figured out what's wrong with them and what they need. And so it's a very difficult journey, and I'm hoping that it makes people very thankful for their own strength.
We do need to be more, I guess, more aware of, that side of life, of how we need to enjoy our lives and be grateful for what we have. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So how do we find you and follow you and find out more about what you're doing? Do you have social media so people can figure that out with you?
My author name is KB Hill. I have one other book that came out in 2015, nothing like this one. It's a very, very dark thriller, very graphic. So you have to kind of have the stomach for it if you want to read that one. It's called Witchy Man.
I like that name. Well, I like that you're able to transition and be part of this and heartfelt and then have the other part of your life, the drama too. So congratulations. And again, thank you for being, part of Ava's life and helping her put this book out.
Ava is, she's a miracle worker. She really is, because what she does just by herself sitting in her dining room it's nothing short of a miracle. She's helped so many people.
Elaine, you're hosting a very special event here at your beautiful store. Tell us why you're hosting this event.
I am a longtime friend and admirer of Ava Kaufman, and I have been her fan and her worshiper. She is a true superwoman.
Now, your store is beautiful. She chose the right element. It's got a great vibe to it. And she mentioned that you always styled her and you always kept her looking beautiful. So when you see like Ava, what do you consider her personal style?
Her personal style is all about charisma and power and motivation and hope and joy. And so it's an honor to dress that brand.
Well, how would you consider your store in terms of the style? Is it casual, dressy?
I would call it a versatile minimalism. And it's the colors are mostly muted and mostly neutrals. A lot of black because that's the power color. But I would say that the reason why that's so is that so that the clothing can support the woman. So the clothing will not overshadow the woman who is always beautiful and powerful. And I take a little bit of a back seat. We love to support that. However, we need to dress comfortably, and we need to dress with style, and we need to have a command over our own style and our own presentation. And I think that's very important. And so Ava really embodies that.
The woman is wearing the clothes aren't wearing her.
That's right. Well put, well put. We have a website, and that's full of information about the clothing, the fabrics, my styles, my history, my community, because the brand can't exist without the community that supports it. We're on Instagram under Elaine Kim Collection. ElaineKim.com is our website, and we have 3 stores currently in Los Angeles and in Orange County, and we usually do pop-ups in New York City. We are found in the finest shops around the country as well. I want to read her a quote that is absolutely her. And it's a quote by Desmond Tutu. And I thank her for doing exactly this. He said, "Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world."
That's appropriate.
That is what she does. And that's the wisdom.